Good afternoon. I'm Karen Small, the Managing Director of the Alan and Joan Bildner Center for the Study of Jewish Life at Rutgers University. An important component of the Bildner Center is the Herbert and Leonard Littman family's Holocaust Resource Center, which provides Holocaust education to school teachers in New Jersey, and as you will soon see, from around the world. Myriam Benhamou is a high school teacher from Strasbourg, France, who has been participating in our Holocaust education program over the past few years. Hi, Myriam.
Hi, Karen.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure.
I first met Myriam in the summer of 2017 when she was in the New York area on her summer vacation. When I told her that I organized seminars for educators about teaching about the Holocaust, she was very interested. But honestly, I never thought I would hear from her again. I was wrong. Myriam, please tell us about what interested you about this program at Rutgers, and what was your motivation for taking the week-long course, History of the Holocaust, the following summer?
So, first, I love learning, and I was very excited to have the opportunity to learn in an American university. But what really got me in learning more about the history of the Holocaust, about that topic, it's being a teacher in a public school. So I'm the only Jewish teacher or person in that high school. One day, a colleague asked me to go with her and one of our classes on a day trip to a concentration camp. And I remember feeling, I didn't feel comfortable going on that trip and being the only Jew visiting a concentration camp. For me, it was too complicated to, maybe I feared the students' reaction. And so from that day, I realized that I needed to learn more about the history. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard about the program at Rutgers, I got very excited, and then I came back the following summer to learn about the Holocaust and the history of the Holocaust.
Right, so you came back to the US, and you were here in New Brunswick, and you stayed in Highland Park, I remember. And you came to our program. It was a 5-day program, Monday through Friday, with about, I think, 23 other teachers, middle and high school, were in the course. So could you talk a little bit more about what was it like for you to be here and be part of that group of teachers and learning about the Holocaust?
So those 5 days were for me a kind of revelation. And I realized how little I knew about the Holocaust. Although I knew the headlines, what happened, but I didn't know about the framework, all the different infrastructures and what took place in, all over Europe. And so I had the chance, the opportunity to meet brilliant professors and amazing teachers. And we didn't learn just the history of the Holocaust, but there was this balance between the history and practical ideas, how to have our students, especially teenagers, get into this sensitive topic. And I remember what struck me most during that first course was how we could focus on the great resilience and humanity in this dark period.
Which is just as important today as we think about the situation that the world is in and how difficult it is for kids these days to observe social distancing and all kinds of other rules, and they need those stories of resilience. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Had you learned about the Holocaust in school?
What do you mean?
When you were a student, did you learn about the Holocaust?
Not that much.
Not
I
that
mean,
much in French school.
no, I probably learned, I mean, the headlines, as I say, but I read on my own a few books from Primo Levi, um, Viktor Frankl,
Uh-huh.
but not that many.
Not that much, yeah. So just, continuing about our trajectory, then the next summer in 2019, you were invited back to participate in our 2-day advanced seminar, which we created for alumni teachers who've taken our other courses. It's a more advanced seminar. And in 2019, the topic was history and memory. And we had here at Rutgers with us, Professor James Young, who is one of the world's experts on Holocaust memorials, and Professor Barbara Mann, who did a seminar for us on graphic novels and the Holocaust. So could you talk a little bit about your experience that summer?
Yes. So what I really loved during that second course was the issue, I mean, the topic on the memorial, the making of the memorial, and the whole process, and how it works as a part of the mourning for the victims of the Holocaust. And we also talked about
some museums and
graphic novels. Yeah, so I discovered the graphic novels too.
Yeah, I think the topic of graphic novels that deal with the subject of the Holocaust was very eye-opening for almost all of the teachers who were here that summer. And I remember somebody saying, people think graphic novels are an easy way, something easy to use with students, but what we saw is that they're really so complicated. They use fewer words and they use pictures in a different kind of way, but they're very, very sophisticated. And I remember that we used two in particular. One was called, one is the animated Anne Frank.
Yeah.
And the animation was just really incredible. And the other one, The Apartment, I think it was called. Also just sort of an interesting journey back to Poland and looking for the property that they had owned, all through graphics, and really interesting way to look at that. Have you been able to use any of the information that you learned here at Rutgers back in your school?
So depending on the course, but I mean, I'm not a history teacher, so it's not my job to teach about the Holocaust. But being an English teacher, we often have discussions with students on different topical issues, such as the refugee issue, or migration, immigration, social media, fake news, or hate speech, violence, terrorism, unfortunately. So the knowledge and the methodology that I got in the course gave me more confidence to tackle these issues with the students. And it also helped me to be able to give to the students the tools to analyze the present, the complex reality of the present.
Right, so important. And here we are in 2020 with a very different reality this summer. Nobody's traveling. Summer vacations feels like the rest of the year, really. But this summer here at Rutgers, we were able to pivot, like most of the programs here, and to offer a virtual seminar. We had this summer a 2-day introductory seminar on the Holocaust in Eastern Europe, which focused on rescue and resilience, and then a 2-day advanced seminar, and the topic was reimagining migration and news literacy and social media. 2 very important topics here in New Jersey as well as in France. And I know that you found the news literacy component of the program particularly helpful. Could you speak a little bit more about that and how you might see yourself using some of that information?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've started preparing, lesson plans about this topic, because this is something we talk about all the time with the students, the news, the fake news, the power of the media. So so they need to know how to navigate among this amount of news, which are not always accurate.
Sure. I remember thinking about how important it was to hear somebody talk about how can you check out the sources? How do you help students think about opinion pieces versus journalism and reporting? And then the social media piece, which is huge in terms of what all of us are bombarded with every day. And they offered, this was the News Literacy Project who we worked with on this program, and offered just a wealth of information for us. So I'm so happy you could be part of that. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you found the virtual aspect of the program? Because this year, of course, you weren't in the classroom with us. You were at home tuning in on your computer. What was that like for you?
So I was lucky to be able to take part in the program, although I was far from the university. And so I was happy about that. Now the virtual format, the first day I had difficulties to get into it, but then after, the second day, I was in, and it was as if we were all together in the same room.
I think because teachers could participate through the chat by sending in their responses, as well as being called on at various times to answer questions or give their opinions or feelings about different things, made it very engaging.
And also the assignments that we had to prepare before the class with all the teachers.
That's right.
We had the opportunity to talk together, and to exchange.
Right, so you were paired up with 1 or 2 other teachers during the break.
Exactly.
And you had an opportunity to work together with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's good. It was more stimulating, because we're just in front of a computer, our screen, and so sometimes we can be we can disconnect our concentration.
Right, but this way you had the interaction in a small group. Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Oh, I'm glad that that worked out for you. Well, Myriam, thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it. Stay in touch with us. We'll let you know about the next program that we do. I'm pretty sure it will be virtual.
Wow. Okay, thank you very much, Karen. I was very happy to take part in all the courses and to talk with you tonight, and I hope to participate to more courses again.
Okay, great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.